Okay, this is Lisalee, and we are back for the third and I think probably last installment of what's probably going to be called I don't know yet. Well, it'll have a title, co-creation with spirit or something like that. But what I want to do is I want to look at these cards, you know, because we sort of, we're at this point where, you know, how do we do this? Well, we participate. You know, we enter the sphere of the mad prophet, and we participate, we play with our magic, and that refines it. And we do it through connecting with unseen. And we have some faith in the process, and the need for each other in that process as well. And so when we talk about, you know, taking action and what steps we're going to take, I'm going to pull cards on this, because it really, like, why did I fall over, you know, and like take this big break? It's because I don't know how else to put this. I guess I just say it. Stories are so much, you know, and so we are moving from the era of Jesus into the era of Mary Magdalene, and we don't even know what that means yet, because guess what? Who is she? You know, I mean, we did a reading, we channeled, she's Mary Magdalene, you know what I mean? But the bottom line is what that really means is it's using this inner vision to heal that part of ourselves. And how do we use our inner vision to heal a part of ourselves and to heal a part of our story, right? So if we have this huge story infrastructure that we're working through in the way of like empire, that, you know, and woven into empires at this point, Christianity and are there good there's good in everything. I mean, even when we look at it, I have to just kind of put this little interject in because I want to be careful about language, because sometimes I'm not. Every world religion has within it, you know, its essence, and then it has a counterfeit that is there to sort of manipulate the power that it has to some degree or another. So, you know, it's like these stories aren't the problem. The problem is what energies manipulate the story. And so when we think about the predominant sort of like the system that infiltrates all other systems, you know, the belief system that is this Jesus, the story that Jesus is a part of that story that we're enacting in one way or another through, you know, the influences and whatever, is this character of Mary Magdalene. And the character of Mary Magdalene represents the counterpart of Jesus. It's, you know, we don't have Mary Magdalene Christ. How come we have Christ consciousness? We don't have Mary Magdalene Christ consciousness. And as far as I'm able to see it, Mary Magdalene was what resurrected Jesus. You know, in the story, she's the only one in the cave. What's she doing in there? She's preparing the body for it. It's dead. It's already in there. You know what I mean? Like, she did it. Whatever her tears and her over that body of her Christ, that was the resurrection. Something about that. You know, there's just something there. So, you know, I'm seeing that. I mean, I don't, you know, I think it's in a book somewhere too. But when we have, when we look at what it means to be the arbiters of justice, it is to look at these stories and say, well, this is the story, but that's unjust. And then when we bring these corrective like these corrective messengers, yeah, and these corrective measures, kind of the same thing. You know, when we think about this inner vision, I see with my inner eye that which is unjust and unworthy of the Creator. And as a co-creator that can heal this, I'm going to do it. I'm going to call this into my being, and I'm going to heal it. And so, you know, healing different parts of the story, you know, we participate in this way. And I know that this is like super out there esoteric, but, you know, when it comes to this concept of universal healing, entering utopia, the kingdom of heaven on earth, working with our magic where we don't have to kill anything. We can make our food like this. Poof. I love donuts, you know what I mean? And it doesn't even hurt. So like there's this way in which we have all of this power to make this a paradise, you know, to step into that. And you know, is that unrealistic? Well, you know, evolution is just moving us that direction. What I'm suggesting is that we can jump. Okay. And so let's get some more cards on that. And I'm just trying to see if it's this energy or another. All right. First we have to switch out the topic, and this is going to need to be, let me pick this up, neutralize, and go. There we are. Ugh. That was not my favorite energy to talk about. Mother, okay, matriarch. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, and this is, okay, wow. All right, so we've got this tantric journey. We're coming back to this thing. Like, I'm so excited. This is, we're talking about what it means to, that the error of, like, we have Christ consciousness. Where's Mary Magdalene? She's the one who resurrected. You know what I mean? Like, it was their alchemy that caused this story about the resurrection and how it all played out. And so when we think about healing this divine feminine, the goddess, the counterpart, we're correcting this story. One cannot exist without the other. This tantric journey, the soul and the body, we've got a dance going to create life over and over and over again. And so this companionship, nobility, this self-realization is understanding that both energies have to have their throne and their place, in the alchemy of creation, or else it just don't work. And what's exploiting that, is using some really, it's like we have to correct, well, let's get some cards. Because healing the, the healer within. So this is where it gets really hard for me to explain, because though, and I'm going to try my best, because it's like when we think of, well, let me move this over. Always looking to nature as like the, the ultimate authority on how the character of God reveals itself to us, and the nature of the universe reveals. It's like really, really useful. And so this process, the conception part is, oh gosh, how the hell do you want me to explain this? Oh my God, trying my best. The discernment is I like in terms of how I'm being shown. When you know what you are, so how does the soul know whether to become an elephant or a human being? Well, each being does something very different and offers something very different to the ecosystem of consciousness. And each of us takes our place in this in one way or another based on what like the soul's purpose, basically informs what it becomes. It's kind of like your magic, your thumbprint, the art that you make, is informed by how you perceive. And so the human being has a specific thing that it does. It's a specific part of the body, and so incarnating into a human being in this perception, like what we have to understand is healing this divine, this is a divine feminine energy. I'll call it community. No, I'm calling it divine feminine energy because it's fine. To heal this energy, is to almost, you sort of have to start with, we need this remembering who we are. And, in the same way that when we look at the story and we can know, like, that is part of the story, is in alignment with good, and that part of the story is in alignment with disruption and exploitation, and we need to sort of correct the story, you know what I mean? But we have to identify, and we have to sort of like bring into healing. And now I'm feeling such intense opposition, I have to sort of find a way to overcome this. Just give me a second. Son of a bitch. Let me just sit here. We're gonna just take a long time and be weird for a minute. Let's just take a little voyage into the Mad Prophet while I try to collect myself with like an opposing energy that like doesn't like this message coming through. Because like really the key to understanding how to use our magic best is to actually know like what we are purposed for. And this has been this has been the goal of the void, like from the very beginning. And so I'm going to shuffle this deck and see if I can't get some movement with the channel. Just going to move it over. Come on. Centering. Holy crap. Angel of Mysteries. Okay, that's good. All right, first Angel of Dreams. So I'm going to give you guys a tidbit when it comes to if you have the gift of prophecy, which is kind of like my big one, and you are saying things that are like having an effect on something that would oppose that message, the key to sort of overcoming it is to sort of find that, like, to be like, it is easy, it is simple. It is easy, it is simple. And you know, to proclaim a simplicity over what's trying to assert itself is too complicated. It's like, this is sort of an alchemist thing where you put the energy that you're needing into it by very intentionally calling it forth. And so right now I need focus and clarity. And so it's like, this thing is, and I'm saying, okay, it's very simple. It's very simple. So I'm just teaching you a little bit of how I do things. So when we talk about knowing what we are in order to really understand like what we're capable of, entering the mysteries, this is our feeling our way in the dark. So back to conception, and this is going to be hard for me to wrangle, so if it sounds spaghetti, it's just whatever. I see us like a movie, like the film reel in it. So if the movie theater is the bigger consciousness, the effect we have on other civilizations in terms of what they learn from us, what we're often exploited for, you know, entertainment. It's really interesting. You know, we are the, like the film in the film reel that projects out a story, because we're story people. We're story beings. We provide story. That's how we kind of do the infrastructure, you know, and because elephants don't, they do something else. You know, we create civilizations around ideas. We are the story creators, and that's how we do, like, so when we know that we have an audience and when we know that our perspective is what shifts the dial towards the reality that we step into, you know, like if we understand that we are kind of like these projectors, and that our consciousness becomes a part of the decision-making capacity of the universe, then we can begin to affect change by calling things in. So, you know, to see a story where an injustice was done, and to sort of call in the energy of like this empathy, like I am standing in that place of the injustice. I'm taking it upon myself. And now if from this position of power, I can heal it. From that, like, cause this is so cool. But you know, part of what I am the divine feminine energy. You know, no matter who the hell you are, like when you proclaim that you are this energy, and then you feel it, and you can feel into it, and you can begin to breathe life into it, and breathe healing into it, and breathe a consensus of power, you know, behind the belief in it. This is how you resurrect and bring back to life some of these things that are only as out of reach as our ability to invoke and then like bring forth. So we like that inspiration, like we bring it forth and then we create from it. And so to do this with intention, you know, to sort of be orienting constantly toward connecting with the spiritual, and to orient constantly toward being able to bring a corrective measure with whatever mode you choose. And it starts with practicing your art. You know, whatever that is, that's the very tip of the iceberg when it comes to like what you're good at with magic. Like a good example is if you, because we have a limited version, if you've been told that you're great at, you're interested in theater and you're really good in this way, well, part of your magic is creating rituals, obviously. And the rituals that you create, you take the play, whatever playing is, you know, that speaks to what you're able to create artistically, and whatever that art is, you take that, and that's a part of like what informs like what your magic is, how it works, and how it brings catharsis. So, you know, to begin to play with your magic is to begin to play with what it is to create from that creative space of inspiration. To know that that's your very like job as a being in some ways, and you're specifically endowed to do it in any number of ways. And art's really narrow. So, you know, in the same way that like we think an alchemist just works with a couple of metals, and it's actually every aspect of everything, you know, really taking a broad view on this and beginning to actively play in defiance of everything that doesn't leave you any time to play. And that's where that discovery grounds end up being. And so when you take this element of connecting with your creator, and that like basically connecting with anything spiritual that interests you, that's following your nose, and playing with it, no matter what it is, knowing that you are being guided and led, that your discernment is something that's in development. You're not going to like, this is the truth and now I can do. It's, I'm finding the truth as I go along. It's a process of discovery and learning and evolution and coming into that self-actualization by touching and feeling and playing. And so this angel of dreams over here, have some imaginary friends. You know, let's start there. You know, start to interact with, like, I don't know if it's real or not. Okay, what do you feel over there? I feel a presence. I can't see it. Okay, well, you can sense it. So what does it feel like? Well, it feels kind of like fear and weirdness. All right, well, how can you take your energy and interact with that energy and alchemize something different? Well, you know, like, it's just these little steps, and every single time you interact with this little step, you know, you get a little bit farther along. You know, I'm having a vision. You know, really, is it a vision or is it my imagination? You know, am I just dreaming about? Well, I don't know. Like, let's play with this. You know, what can you put in that vision? Where can you direct that vision? When you're directing that vision, like, what elements can you bring into it to make it more, you know, something that you vision into interacting with matter, and then just test and play and test and play. And when it comes to connecting with each other, you know, when you are actively in your magic, you know, like a good way of, there's so many words that kind of describe the same thing. Your anointing. Your magic is your anointing. You know, what you create, you know, from art to, when you create art that actually heals somebody, it's because it's infused with that anointing. When it provides any kind of catharsis, it's infused with that anointing. It's a magical quality that takes somebody's state of being, which in one way is stuck, and unstucks them and gives them a little bit of liberation, your perspective freeing there somehow. When you're with other magicians, you know, with other practitioners, your magic is amplified. Especially if you're an amplifier. Some of us are. And so what you want to do is begin to practice and play and seek others to practice and play with, and just let yourselves like be. This is, I think, what it means to sort of have to come through the mad prophet, and a better way of putting it, like, have to come through back through this idea of like what it is to have an imagination in childhood, reconnecting with that, and that's sort of like this receptive of the inspiration and letting it, you know, co-create, you know. So it's really, really simple and like not grandiose at all, but it's also really, really grandiose. And so just trying to see if there's anything else that we need. Like, I wish we had questions right now, because like let's see what else. Let's just see what the last of what Spirit wants to say is. Let's see what Spirit wants to leave us with. I've got 3 decks over here I'm supposed to use. I cleared them because I knew I was supposed to use them. I just wasn't sure when. And this one I actually didn't end up using. Kind of surprising. Unless I'm supposed to. Nope. And there's one more. Okay. So we're gonna get some, like, we're just gonna get some direct words from Spirit in the way of like capping this off, because sometimes I think there's a lot of repeating, but I think that the repeating is there to sort of inspire you, like, once and for all, to begin to see yourself as the magical creature that you really are, and know that you have the power to interact with that and let it surprise you. What you do, you know, with your magic. Yeah, let's just see what Spirit wants to say about it. All right, I like what's coming through. Leave questions, because if you want further inquiry on like anything about what came through, because I feel like it's just like very grand, and I'm hoping that it's as impactful as it felt like it was coming out. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, we have this on the bottom of the deck. I'm just kind of trying to move this along. I hope that I'm in the, yeah, okay. So I like what's coming out. So this is going to be easy. We're going to leave this in an easy place. And it's going to lead us probably into like the next phase of inquiry. But So many of you wanted to know, like, how do I, you know, connect with something that's like the substance of my creator? And you play with it is the answer. You play with the substance. You play. You start talking to it. And then you wait and see what happens. That's like a very good entry point. Start talking, be like, hey, creator of my soul, blah, blah, blah. You know, begin the conversation and enter there. And when you enter there, you begin to play, and it's going to lead you somewhere. And I think that that's sort of like the answer. You know, the answer is not, it's, yeah, I'm ready to grow on the bottom of the deck. The answer is, how do you connect to your creator? How do you make this relationship? Because that tantric journey right there and the emergence that comes from it is your ability to not have to contend with the void, and to have access to your power and to do things with your power that creates the kind of net, you know, and community that makes this a part, like, that makes us like really us, you know. And so Spirit is saying, you know, with this information, like, where we're going to go from here is, I am as close as your heart is, as close as your heartbeat. I am conscious of you. I am directing you, because we have keepers of the earth. You are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand behind you. Start talking to your ancestors. You know, that's a good place to start. You know, and co-create with Spirit. This is what it is to co-create with Spirit, is to enter that, like, maybe it's crazy, but I'm going to talk to my ancestors. That's co-creating with Spirit. And so that Spirit can take that alchemy of you creating with your, talking to your ancestors, and then, you know, have that interact with the world. And then your ancestors talk back and you're like, whoa, didn't believe that could happen. But now we're on the road to where you're going. And with, I know that all the wisdom I need to make the right decisions lies within me. I am intuitive. It's trusting that this process of faith is about exploration and not a declaration, and being okay with that and not being afraid of that. You know, what lights you up? This is follow your curiosity. You know, with embrace the in-between and the reverse. This kind of tells me that, like, doubt is not a good ingredient. This is the mystery school. You know, we enter into the mystery, and we're not finding the path by seeing it right in front of us with our eyeballs. You know, it's very much take your orientation and, like, look up and find the path through the trees. Where the trees break, that's where the path is. It's a different process. And so what lights you up? What interests you? I'm obsessed with, you know, quantum physics. Go there. You know, that's part of your magic. You know, what interests you? Singing. You know, okay, well, that's part of your magic. You know, what can you add alchemically to the singing to, you know, create an intention? You know, what can you put behind it? What can you work with? You're going to follow your talents into your magic, basically, you know, and you're also going to believe in possible things and be willing to be wrong about what you believe in the way of impossible things, so long as you know that you're exploring and you're always feeling for the good. You're using your intuition, that barometer. Am I at peace or am I agitated? It's like key. You know, I am choosing joy. I know that a simple shift in perspective can change my reality. Believing that you're capable of miracles. Yes, you are. If anybody is capable of miracles, then so are you. So, you know, you take that leap of faith. And so knowing that, like, your art leads you to your magic, you're going to believe in miracles. It's going to be fun because it's play. It starts, like, with that substance of play, and just go with it. You know, be a kid again in a certain way. Birthing a new age, birthing new creations, dreaming a new world into being. You know, with life as a mystery, in reverse, you know, this is almost saying, whoever said that you can't, you know, test things, you know, dear creator within, you want to prove yourself to me? I need to see 5, you know, color red. I want you to throw in a bunny, and on top of it, can I, you know, show me a blue rock? Yeah, playing, engaging, turning your attention towards. Yes, it's a mystery, but no, it's not a foregone conclusion. Don't shut down areas of inquiry, especially when you believe something and it turns out to be wrong. That's just, you got to the end of the road first, and now you're going to turn around and tell everybody else that wasn't the way. You were faster. It's like this fight with despair and finality and conclusion, you know, and allowing for, yeah, there's a mystery, but there's also an active participation in the mystery, you know what I mean? Because it's revealing itself to you. It's a revelatory process, not a get to a conclusion process. You know, and then we have, I know that I do not need to avoid making others uncomfortable by playing small. I am taking up place. Does it look crazy? Good. Good. When you let yourself look crazy, then you give everybody around you permission to look a different way than what we're prescribed, because we know that doesn't really work out too well. It's making us a little smaller than we all know that we are. So one of the most defiant things we can do is say, not only am I deciding for me that I have an adjoining galaxy, you know, and I'm part of what creates, you know, the substance of consciousness, which the universe then uses to make decisions about what it is to organize, you know, the relationship, you know, between elements that creates certain kinds of growth around, you know, the stories that we give in the way of creating meaning of our lives. Like, when we decide that we aren't small, and we also decide that other people aren't small, and we begin to attend to each other with awe, and we begin to look for each other's magic, and you know, and to participate in the amplification of the healing of what it means to bring our elements together and create from it. You know, this is radical, and to be able to do this in the spirit of play is against everything that you want to know. We've been taught, good, do it, you know. And so with stop overthinking, keep facing your true north, being exactly what, you know, this is about. You just follow, you know, that curiosity, to, like, you know, you just keep going. You know, this angel of dreams, dream your way forward and believe that those dreams have a substance that can in fact affect matter. You know, sing your own song, use your talents. Your talents give you a lot of cues about what your magic actually is. And then, and this is a beautiful experience of life when our perspective is no longer, well, I need to get these 5 things in order to like have any kind of status. When we are just on like this journey of rediscovering our magic, there's where like it's easy to be grateful, and it's not such a chore. You know, especially when we go down the wrong road and we find out, wow, all these little pieces of my magic I found, and then guess what? I'm using it to get rid of that other bad magic. I know that my blessings come from being thankful for what I already have. I am grateful. This is important, actually. I need a sip of water. Give me a second, because this is important, and I just need to focus. You start with the ingredients you already have. You know, this is not like you need to go to the store and buy like 15 things to make that particular spell that you got out of a book. You know, beginning to understand the alchemy of your own true magic, which is a very unique fingerprint, like one of a kind of a thing. It's a combination of giftedness that makes its own unique gift, is first looking around at like what is in front of you. What materials do I have to bring healing and catharsis by way of creating something? Even if it's like saying something kind to someone on the way out of a store, because there's no kindness in the world. So, you know, I'm going to bring some kindness into the world right now. I'm going to be kind. That's creating the substance of kindness between me and another person. There it is. It wasn't there before I did it. You're going to look at where you are to begin to try and see, to know that your magic might start as just like kind words that affect another in a way that is healing. That's a very good place for you to think about your magic is starting. And as you continue to put the alchemy, the elements into the world that you see missing, you know, as you embody the injustice and call it in so that you can bring healing to it. What does it mean to embody the injustice? It's like, you know, the most powerful spell that ever, like, I've done, oh, well, this is a lot, actually. But one of the most, I think maybe the most, but because the more I say it, the more powerful it gets. It has like a cumulative effect. And I don't know who to credit, because I don't know where this 100% came from. But I was with other powerful witches, and the spell that was said was just a sentence. And there was someone who said this once before. So I know that it doesn't come directly from me, but I just can't place it. So if anybody figures it out, credit them. But if somebody's magic brought this through, the spell was one sentence. I am Mary Magdalene. Now, why was that so powerful? And what does it mean when I saw like the error of Mary Magdalene? We don't have her magic named. We have Christ consciousness. That's Christ consciousness. That's Jesus consciousness. What is Mary Magdalene consciousness? How do we bring Mary Magdalene consciousness into the world? We embody it. we call it in. I am Mary Magdalene. You know, it needs to be healed. When you start to say that sentence, you're going to feel the resonance of it, and a mix of power and some pain. And then you're going to realize that this is the divine feminine energy that we are calling back to life within ourselves. Like there's a technology around like the name somehow. And so great magic does not require 50,000 things. You know, it's important for us to learn from each other, and so it's important for us to teach. But by calling something into your being for healing, you interact with the energy of it, and you say, I am Mary Magdalene. You know, I am the divine feminine that has been ignored. I am the part of me that has been ignored. I am the part of me that hasn't been properly credited. I am the part of me that is capable of resurrection, that has been buried alive. And so I'm going to call this part of me forward. And I'm going to start to exercise this energy. You know, so like think about spells in a completely different way, and let yourself be surprised by the alchemy of the power within you as you say them. And the same can spell, prayer. You can use any way of you're interacting with divinity to have a relationship that does something. And so bottom of the deck energy over here is, I know that every dream in my heart is waiting to bloom. I am ready to grow. You have the capacity for all of this. And then on the bottom of this deck, it's in reverse. And this is time to take hold, not time to let go. Time to take hold, because with this bottom of the deck meaning to take hold of this relationship with the co-creator that is intelligent of you and wants to work with you and wants to communicate with you. And you start by you start by the mad prophet. I'm going to just talk to this energy. I'm going to do it and see what happens. That's this like interacting with the dream space in a way that is like, there's something beyond just what I see in my waking life. I'm going to shuffle this deck as we're going to end on that, because take action with Aries, and the bottom of this deck is, have you answered your deepest calling? Again, yourself is calling to you. Your higher self, your creator, is calling to you. Wow, this deck got really intense. Like something happened with it while I was sitting there. Let's just see what comes out real fast. Oh, we don't really have to rush. Why rush? Let's just see what comes out, because I just felt this deck in like my entire being. It has its like really intense frequency, right? What I'm feeling in my hands. What does it want to tell me? We're going to end with whatever it wants to tell me, because I thought I was just getting one card, and I think I'm probably going to get 3 or 4 or something. Let's see. What? Really? We'll go fast. Rapid fire. Page of Pentacles. Take one step towards me. I'll take, like every step you take towards Spirit, Spirit takes towards you. The Chariot. Yeah, this is going to move you forward in your spiritual progress, and what it means to be in relationship to your creator, and what it means to have access to your magic. You're going to begin, you start with playing, and it's going to move you towards this Queen of Cups energy. This is this alchemy that I'm seeing, where, you know, the more you play with your magic, the more you make stuff, the more you see what you can make and how you make it. Again, like this is getting a level of mastery over, you know, one of the elements with the Queen of Cups. Working with the different feeling states to create new ones, you know, negotiating with the stories to create a door out and into a new story. You know, recognizing your power with these things is significant. With the 10 of Cups here, your emotional fulfillment, that grateful, you know, that gratitude comes with you being the Messiah, the messenger. Page of Swords, the messenger. And with the 3 of Pentacles, like you are the Messiah, the messenger of your magic, your meaning, and how that interacts with the world is crucial. And you can't forget about yourself. You are absolutely, you know, the body needs the organs, each one of them, every single one. And so when you begin to interact with the substance of love, that's this Queen of Cups, the substance of love, the substance of God, the substance of miracles, the substance of inquiry, of craning towards your creator and having your creator reach back. and then playing with what is created of that back and forth any way you want. You can go into the haunted houses. It doesn't matter. It's not, you know, this is a process where you are fully protected, because with this Three of Pentacles here, this is building a cathedral that can hold the kind of belief, bottom of deck energy. Wow, that's a Nine of Swords that breaks fear. Because this is interesting. This is, I thought we were gonna, but see the way that sword is just cutting through that candle. You know, if this candle is the fear that controls us, this is the process that cuts through and takes the power that is being siphoned and put us into a trance about what we really are, and cut its neck off. This is really interesting. We're going to actually end on this because I think it's amazing. Well, actually, I'll show you the bottom of the deck in a second, but this Nine of Swords is such a cool image. So see that little light that's coming out of the candle? So the powers of darkness that have sort of the dominant, like, what is God? That which makes you go to work every day. And is it a good God? Hell no. That story structure is an oppressive son of a bitch. It's siphoning all of your creative capacity to fuel this one little candle that has you under a spell, that makes you feel like you are as small as it is, that you are subservient to creating its light. And what forging this connection does is it cuts off that siphoning, so that you are faced with with the power that you actually are a part of. You know, and so with the Seven of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck, like, this is some work that we have to do. You know, let's build into the void. Let's play with this. Let's have some fun. If you have questions, leave them down below. That was a fun series to do today. I'm glad we did that. And I'll see you again soon.